Leonard Ellerbee and Devin Haney trade words and pretty much confirmed it ain't gonna be no Tank Davis fighting Devin Haney in 2024 and probably never. We're gonna get into that in this video. I'm gonna let y'all hear exactly what both of them had to say. But before we do that, do me a favor, smash the like button. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, I don't know what you're doing, but make sure that you subscribe to the channel. So last night, man, I put up a video, and in that video, I was talking about how basically, it's not going to be no fight between Gervonta Davis, and I explained why Gervonta Davis's team pretty much confirmed that it wasn't going to be no fight. Now, a whole bunch of Tank Davis fanatics got up under my comments, was crying and shit, talking about, oh, you didn't hear what they said on the Rise podcast? Yeah. I heard what they said on the Rise podcast. On the Rise podcast, Coach Calvin, Coach Squeeze, and the rest of them, for one, they said that Devin Haney ain't ready. If Devin Haney was ready to fight Gervonta Davis, he would have performed better by finishing Regis Prograis. They also started talking about the numbers. And Coach Calvin concluded by saying, hey, if Devin wants to fight with Gervonta Davis, hey, he ain't gonna get nowhere near what Ryan Garcia made, so he might as well just take whatever we send him, whatever offer we decide to send him, whatever percentage or whatever that might be, he gonna have to take it if he wants to fight, or it ain't gonna be no fight. So that pretty much sums up what they said. See, a lot of y'all hear, but y'all don't listen. A lot of y'all read titles of a video, but y'all don't actually listen to what they saying. So yeah, I heard exactly what they said on the Rise podcast, and it ain't nothing different than what they've been saying. So before I get into the details of this video that I'm putting down right here, I just wanted to clarify that for everybody that was under my comments last night. Now, recently, Devin Haney spoke on the situation with the Gervonta Davis fight, and he made it clear what's going to have to take place to make a fight happen. Leonard Ellerbee, he came recently, and he was saying the exact opposite of what Devin Haney was saying. And, of course, I'm going to let y'all see and hear all of what was said between Leonard Ellerbee and Devin Haney. But one of the biggest things that Gervonta Davis's team have been using is they are now coming out claiming that Devin and Regis Prograis only did 50,000 pay-per-view buys. Right? They saying they only did 50,000. Now, Blue Blood came out and said Devin Haney is now a pay-per-view star. He did 250K. And this ain't no shade thrown towards Blue Blood Sports TV. But do I believe that they did 250K? Hell no, I don't believe that. Because I know that Blue Blood is going to do whatever he can to big up the Haneys, to make them look bigger than what they even are. Because he rock with the Haneys, them his people. He going to run with whatever narrative make them look great. And like I said, once again, this ain't no shade thrown towards Blue Blood. This is just the truth. Now, you can also ask me, do I believe that Devin and Regis only did 50K? No, I don't believe that bullshit neither. Because you got a whole lot of people that's going to want to do whatever they can to tear down and bring down the numbers of Devin and Regis. To keep it a buck, I know that they don't even release the numbers on DAZN pay-per-view for real. How many pay-per-views did Canelo do over there on DAZN? Did they ever release those numbers? No. How many pay-per-views did Anthony Joshua do on DAZN? Have they ever released those numbers? No. To keep it a buck, the only pay-per-view numbers they ever released with DAZN was a split pay-per-view with DAZN and Showtime, and that was the Ryan Garcia and Gervonta Davis numbers. And like I said, Showtime was the head of that pay-per-view, and DAZN was the secondary partners. So they don't even release the numbers. So both sides is BS when it comes to that. I don't believe none of it. So I don't even get into all of that. It all comes down to, does Gervonta Davis really want to fight Devin Haney? Because he's the A side. That's what it's going to come down to at the end of the day. But we haven't really heard nothing from Tank, right? In an interview, we heard and seen what he wrote on Twitter, and it seemed like that he wants to fight, but his team is on some other shit. And let's talk about that. Let's talk about what Leonard Ellerbee had to tweet today, and then I'm going to get into what Devin Haney said yesterday. So Leonard Ellerbee, he get on Twitter or X Space, whatever y'all want to call it, and he get to popping off today, right? And this is what he wrote. Numbers will never lie. The numbers will always tell the story. The business will always dictate the current market value, always. Then he come back and he say, the public decides who the star is. Tank is the star, period. The public decided their current commercial value is 50K pay-per-view buys in the last fight. They had a very good gate at 1.7 mil. In what universe does someone think they can call shots? Can't fool the public. Now, with that tweet right there, what Leonard Ellerbee is doing, and I already told you about the 50K, of course, they're going to come, and whatever the pay-per-view really did, nobody really knows except for the people on DAZN, right? But they're going to come with a horribly low number, and then they're going to push the narrative that Devin and Bill are trying to call the shots. When I heard from Bill Haney, he said, we know that Tank is the A side. Send us something respectfully. But they don't want to do that. And I'm going to go on and I'm going to let y'all see the rest of these tweets. Then Leonard Ellerbee comes and he says, if anyone wants to fight Gervonta Davis, it will always be on his terms. This is just simple business, not personal. Now, he said this, right? Remember why Leonard Ellerbee is tweeting this. Because this is in response to what Devin Haney said, and I'm going to let y'all hear what Devin Haney said. But remember that tweet, and I'm going to remind you of that tweet again later in this video. Now Leonard Ellerbee comes back and he says, I've said all along, fights are made when they make sense for both sides. Fighters aren't scared, but the biz has to make sense. An offer would be insulting, but the biz dictates those things. Not egos. That's how it works. You get paid what you weigh for big fights. Facts. Now, what Leonard Ellerbee is saying right there, once again, he's telling y'all in so many words, it ain't gonna be no fights. The man just said, if I send an offer to Devin right now, it's gonna be insulting. He's telling y'all, big fights are made when they're ready. The fight ain't ready to be made. Leonard Ellerbee been said that, but y'all jumped up on my comments, told me I ain't know what the hell I was talking about. But let's go ahead and move along. To a fan that tweets him, right? The fan tweets him, and y'all can see it says, some real irony with you finishing this tweet with the use of line, can't fool the public, when your entire business model is fooling the public, right? Now, the real ones know what Leonard Ellerbee, Floyd Mayweather, and their whole team is doing when it comes to Gervonta Davis. So Leonard Ellerbee felt some type of way about that. That's why he retweeted and he says, bro, the public determine what they want to pay for. You can't tell someone what they want to spend their money on. And this is what I've been telling y'all the whole time. They're going to continue to put Gervonta Davis in fights with these Rudy Poot opponents as long as y'all continue to pay for it. Until then, they're not going to risk putting him in a fight with a Devin Haney or Shakur Stevenson or any upper echelon fighter because y'all paying to see him in with Rudy Poots. Y'all don't get it? The man is telling y'all. The public determine what they want to pay for. So we're going to continue to give y'all, you know what I'm saying, what they want to see. The public wants to see Gervonta Davis get spectacular knockouts, and they don't care who it's against. That's what he's telling y'all. Open up your eyes. Now another fan comes and tells Leonard Ellerbee, come on, L, just make the fight. And Leonard says, how do you make a fight? He's telling you right now. How you gonna make that fight happen? And Leonard Ellerbee comes back again. He says, I'll say it again. The guy who brings the business will always dictate the terms. That's how business works. So what he's telling you is if Gervonta Davis wants to put a rehydration clause in, that's who's going to dictate the terms. If Tank Davis wants to fight at 135, that's what it's going to have to be. If Tank Davis wants to sit him 10%, that's what it's going to have to be, or it ain't going to be no fight. Then Leonard comes back and he says, Floyd wanted the Oscar fight so bad, he had to take whatever he offered. We told him he has to accept the terms or no fight. At that time, he wasn't in position to dictate the terms, not one. Oscar was the big pay-per-view star at the time. Look how things turned out. Now, a lot of people have been comparing this situation to Oscar De La Hoya and Floyd. But it's only one problem, right? Yeah, Tank Davis is the money man, but he ain't nowhere near on the level that Oscar De La Hoya was, for one, with the money and what Oscar De La Hoya was selling. Also, Oscar De La Hoya had already beat a bunch of A-plus level great legendary fighters. Let me say that again. Oscar had already beat all type of A-plus level legendary fighters. Oscar had been in plenty of 50-50 fights. Oscar had been in fights to where he was the underdog. Gervonta Davis ain't fought nobody like that yet, at all, not even close. Tank Davis is still in a position to where if he retires tomorrow, ain't nobody gonna remember 15 years from now because he don't have no legendary fights on his resume. At that point in time, Oscar could have retired and been in the Hall of Fame and nobody would have questioned it because Oscar had plenty of legendary fights under his belt already. They always talking about money when it comes to Tank, but 10, 15 years from now, these fans that's crying and fanatics of you, they ain't gonna care how much money you made in your career if the fights that you had don't back it up. The only reason that people talk about how much money that Floyd Mayweather made is because Floyd Mayweather had legendary fights. Not just because he fought a bunch of Rudy Poots and made a whole bunch of money. So when it comes to Tank, it's always about money this and numbers that, but it's never about who he's fighting or who he fought. So stop trying to compare Oscar De La Hoya and Tank Davis because it's like comparing apples to oranges. It's not the same thing, especially when it comes to legacy and who they fought. This is all things to basically cover up the fact that they just don't want to put the fight on right now. They don't care what Devin Haney make. You think Leonard Ellerbee give a damn about lowballing Devin or anybody? He don't care about that shit. But he know they're not going to be able to play Bill and Devin like they're able to do with Isaac Cruz or Rolly and some of these other lower tier opponents because let's just keep it real. I'm not a Devin Haney fan like that, but he deserved more than that. And they ain't going to want to do it. That's why they telling you, oh, if we send them an offer right now, it's going to be insulting. And what this all comes down to is the fans. When are the fans, when are the masses gonna say, you know what, we sick of this bullshit with Tank. We ain't going to the fight and we ain't paying to see him on pay-per-view until he fight one of these top guys. But anyway, let me let y'all hear what Devin had to say about all of this.
A fight with Tank, no rehydration clause, no catch weight, correct?
Yeah, I'm not doing no catch weights. I'm not doing no rehydration clause. I'm the champion at 140. We doing throwback boxing. We bringing it back to the throwback days where the best fight the best. He went up to 140. He didn't put Barrios under no rehydration, no none of that. Or maybe he did. I don't know. But we doing throwback.
Barrios did have a rehydration clause.
We doing throwback boxing, and the best should be fighting the best. Where I'm 100%, he 100%, and we get it on, and may the best man win. And that's what it is. It ain't no, we not making no excuses for nobody. We not trying to handicap one fighter to where I'm not at my best or he not at his best. Listen, he fought at 140. He knocked out Mario Barrios. Mario Barrios at 147, and yeah.
So when Leonard Ellerbee kept saying dictate the terms, they trying to dictate the terms. That's what Leonard Ellerbee was talking about, right? That's what he was talking about. That's what he had to be talking about. They trying to dictate the terms with the weight, not the money. But this is how I see it, right? I see it like this. It come down to, do both fighters really want to get it on? If both fighters really want to get it on, well, they got to meet each other in the middle. I don't give a damn about that A side and B side, and I'm a fan. I just want to see the fight. So if they really want to fight, they can make it happen. But what it's going to have to do is Tank going to have to come to 140 because, look, man, Devin can't make 135 pounds. The nigga big as hell. We know that. But Devin going to have to accept a rehydration clause. If you want to fight, do it that way. You know what I'm talking about? Tank go to 140, put a rehydration clause on Devin to where he can't blow up to 165 like he did. He could blow up to 150, right? And bam, y'all meet each other halfway, right? Give Devin Haney 35, 40%, whatever. That's cool. And make the fight happen. If Devin don't want to accept that, well then, cool. You didn't call this bluff. You know what I'm saying? He really don't want to fight. And if you don't want to send the offer, well then, you really don't want to fight. It all comes down to the fighter at the end of the day. Miss me with all of that fanboy bullshit that y'all be on. Is y'all gonna be fans of the sport, or y'all just gonna deride a fighter because y'all like him? Anyway, make sure that you hit my like button. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. And y'all already know how I do. There you go, talking that boxing again. And I'm gone.
Got the top let down, leaning to the right with the bass up loud. I slide.